So working on any BABF, the hardest part of installation is taking the top hat off. I'm gonna teach you a small little trick here where you can take the top hat off without breaking it, so by just using your hands. Try to put your fingers at the back of the top hat. You'll have enough space to just poke your finger in. Just try to lift it up slowly and put your other finger in here. Try to lift it up. So what I'm doing here is there are two clips, one on here and one on there. So I'm just trying to lift those two clips at the same exact spot. So I'm not trying to put pressure on the other parts. There you go. After taking the top hat off, what we're going to try to do is make this installation as simple as possible. So we're going to try to pull the unit out a little bit without actually taking the BCM plugs off. So many of us have problem taking those BCM. We can't reach the plugs to the pins to take them out. So we're just going to try our best to just leave the BCM plugs in place and just pull the unit a little bit out so we can put our plastic on to get the wire in. So in order to do that, so you just have to take off a few panels here, one Phillips head screwdriver and a socket number 8. Alright, let's get started. I have to take this panel off here first. Be gentle with the parts, they might be a bit delicate sometimes. When you take that off, that would expose two Phillips head screws here. Just have to take them out. Help to take these two panels off here, which would just come off. So when you take those two off, that would expose 1, 2, 3 and 4 socket number 8 screws, which are holding the unit in place. Just take them off. And there was one Phillips head screw at the top. You can leave it there. Just try to pull the unit out a little bit. There you go. Just by doing that, you have enough of gap here at the back so you can put your thong in here. So this is the whole deal of triple gauge top hat and 3 gauges that we get in the package. So let's have a look at the top hat itself. The remote, and this is the OBD connector. So you have to connect one and off this plug to the gauge, and this then goes to the OBD. And you've got a battery in here to put in the remote. And finally, this is the gauge itself. Which is all digital. You get a little cable and the rubber seal in the package. You just have to put it on the gauge like that before you putting in. Before you're putting it in the pot. There you go. And before we're locking it in the place, we have to make sure this is straight because there's no marking on the actual dial. So we just have to turn this thing on and see if it's exactly pointing straight. So I just left it here like that. So let's make all 3 the same place. We just put the gauges into the pots and we have not tightened them up just to make sure they're straight. We just go take into the car, turn them on, and make sure they're straight before we tighten them up. So let's go do it. Alrighty, what I'm trying to do here is to just connect it. Connect the last part up. Just bring it up inside here. Make sure not lock it in. And then just leave it here. And this panel here to access the OBD port there. As you can see, there's the OBD port. Just have to plug this one in there. So alrighty, as I said, we have to adjust this gauges before we're putting them into the pot. So as you can see, they're not straight. Just have to turn them up, adjust how I wanted them to be. Let's go ahead and tighten them up. Alrighty guys, this is an easy way to put the gauges in. So you just have to get one of this WD-40 or a similar lubricant. So you just have to apply a little bit of this onto the rubber seal. Just give it a keep run around. So trust me guys, these are really tight to put it in. So once you do that, it's not that easy to take them out. So make sure you align them straight before you're locking them in the position. Alrighty guys, next to take the cable from the bottom without taking the unit out, what I would suggest you is to get one of these things, which we usually call as cable runners, or something similar to that. And I've got one of these ones from the Bunnings, which was $2-3 I believe. So we just use one of these to just shove it in there. So if you see there's where I've got to, and this is the cable which I connected to the OBD. I want to run from there. It has to come from the back of the steering wheel, so it doesn't just block your foot when you're braking or accelerating. Go. Just stick this end to tape like this here. There's a bit of portion and try to put it from the top. There you go. We got a cable here. I already had the sticky tip here. Just have to stick it, so it wouldn't bother you always. Alright, so you just have to run the cable in the small square hole here. I think that's enough. We're gonna put the unit back in place. Alright, so we just run the cable successfully without taking the BCM plugs off. Back to the port number 1, which is on the right hand side here. Just take this one off for now. So before we're locking the gauges in place in the pods, we test it once again. Make sure they're all straight. Let's turn them on up. Ready? So this body moved from its place. So make sure you see that 0 here. Make sure you center it. Same with the other one. Make sure you have enough space there. And so you just have to transfer these 2 plastic clips from the old panel that you took them off from. They just clips in the same spot. There you go. Time to lock it in. So you just have to hold your remote straight onto this optical fiber cable before you select whatever you want.